Ready to flex your vocabulary? Let's unwrap the meaning of the words today. Good afternoon everyone. My name is Jyoti and I am from Sandeep sir's Doon Defense Academy, and we are working on your skills, how to enhance your vocabulary. So today I have got 15 words for you, and the meaning of those 15 words, they are fill in the gaps, because this is the right technique that I feel we can do in order to improve your vocabulary skills, right? So there's a word. I have given you these tips also, that whenever you want to work on your vocabulary skills, just learning the word does not help. Just learning the words, they really do not help. So what you have to do is, you have to first read the sentence and then try to see what does the mood of the sentence say. Is it a positive word, negative word, and then you can guess the word obviously, right? So let's get going. So the first sentence we have for you is, those wish to receive citizenship must swear allegiance to the party. The people who wanted to have some kind of allegiance, so allegiance is the word which has been written in bold, they must swear to the party. Swear that means take oath. For example, when a prime minister is being appointed, a minister is being appointed, or whenever someone gets appointed, like something in the defense forces or become a doctor, they have to take an oath. So we are talking about that oath over here. So what is the meaning of allegiance? Allegiance means loyalty. Allegiance means loyalty, support to any political party or government is allegiance, right? Support or loyalty, you can say. The meaning of the word is allegiance, right? The next word that I have for you is, it is very delicate situation and I have no wish to antagonize him. So there's something very delicate, and if the person talks about that, then it will, this thing, whatever the person wants to talk about, it will antagonize him. So because in a delicate situation, if the person talks, then you will make someone angry or hostile. So obviously it's a delicate situation, and this person, if he knows that if I'll talk about that, then the person may get antagonized. So what is the meaning of antagonize? To make someone angry, hostile, to hurt somebody's feeling is antagonize. I hope that is clear. Now let's move on to the third sentence. She was appalled to see how much damage the storm had caused. So appalled to see, what is the meaning of appalled? See, just read the sentence carefully. We are getting into the habit of not depending on anyone, right? I want you to be self-dependent on this. Read the sentence, understand the mood, and try to guess. If you guess it right, then you have climbed up a ladder to understand how to understand any word, how to decode any word. It is very easy, right? So as you see, the storm is what? Storm is, most of the time it is very, you can say, if it is very dangerous, right? It could be some kind of a catastrophe. So when we talk about she was appalled to see how much damage, the storm had caused too much damage, right? And when we talk about too much damage, then you can say she was shocked to see, she was devastated to see what kind of damage the storm had caused. I hope that is clear. Now let's move on to the fourth sentence. The police said that the art thief could be in a collusion. Now just try and understand this point. The police said that the art thief could be in collusion with a museum director, right, to steal a famous painting from the art museum. So the police, what did they do? They investigated the case, right? They investigated the case and they found out that maybe first person, the art thief, and the second one is the museum director, they must be in kind of a collusion to steal the painting from the art museum. Alright, so that was an expensive painting. So when they said they were in a collusion, what is the meaning of collusion here? Collusion means to have some kind of secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy. Okay, so this is kind of a secret conspiracy that people make in order to do something, right? This is some kind of scam also. This could be some kind of forgery also people do, and that is a collusion. When two people they get together to have some kind of conspiracy, that is known as a collusion, right? Now let's move on to the fifth sentence. Social media must take serious measures to curb against spreading of any kind of hate messages. So what is curb? See, these type of words that I'm talking about, curb, right? And here we talked about collusion, okay? And then we talked about allegiance. All these words, when we talk, they are going to have you can use, once you know the usage, you can use them in your group discussions, you can use them in your lecturate. Always remember, having a good vocabulary, although you are not never being asked to speak English, like for example, like Shashi Tharoor, if you speak, it is very good, right? But even if you speak basic English, that is also acceptable. Your English should be understandable. But here, if you take a little bit, your English, your vocabulary skills a little bit higher, and of course that's going to add an added advantage, right? So when we talk about social media, must take serious measures to curb against. So curb, we need to curb terrorism, we need to curb on corruption, and we need to curb on so many things here. So when we talk about curb, we are going to, the social media must take a step to curb against spreading of hate messages, hatred messages. So when we talk about hatred messages, what is curb? Curb means to put a check, to keep a check, to restrain something, right? So restrain something, to keep a check on the things. So that is so that they don't grow. All right. So when we keep a check on hate messages, then they do not grow, or they do not create a big havoc in the society. So that is why we must curb. We must curb on so many things. We must curb on terrorism. We must curb on so many things here, right? So putting a curb means restrain or keep a check, right? Then the sixth sentence, she was a small and dainty child. She was a small and dainty child, unlike her sister who was tall and had big feet. So when we are talking about two people, we are comparing two people. One is very small and dainty and the other one is very tall. So here we say that if you look over this sentence, the other one is tall and had big feet, right? But this one is small and dainty. So what is the meaning of small and dainty? If you say small and delicate, yes, that's right. You can call it skinny also. Skinny means very thin and very thin, okay? So that the meaning of that is skinny. Now let's move on to the seventh sentence. We have a scheme to order the furniture now and defer the payment until September. So there is a scheme given by this furniture company. So there's a scheme by the furniture company that you can buy the furniture now and defer the payment until September. So maybe you can buy now, pay later, something like this. So what is the meaning of defer? Defer means postpone or delay. Defer means to postpone or delay something is defer. So as understood by the example we have here, that we have a scheme to order the furniture. So buy the furniture now and you can delay the payment. You can postpone the payment by September. You can pay it later. I hope that is clear. Now let's move on to the eighth sentence. Out of deference, see this is defer and this is deference. Out of deference to the elders, the children lower their head. So when we talk about out of deference to the elders, so how do you behave when you are in front of the elders? When you are in front of the elders, you give them respect, and when you give them respect, you lower their heads, right? You bow your head, you lower their head. So what is the meaning of difference here? Very simple. It is respect, humble, polite. Respect, humble and polite is the meaning of deference here. I hope that is right and that is clear, because with the help of these words, these sentences that I've got for you, you have been able to, I have guessed most of the sentences correctly. Now with that, let's move on to the next sentence, which is the ninth one. The politician's explanation of the financial transaction seemed rather dubious. I have done that before. This word I have told you before, right? Not really this word, but yes, I have used it when I wanted to explain the meaning of synonym of this, right? So the politician's explanation of the financial transaction seemed rather dubious, raising concern about political corruption. So this politician, for example, he was asked to give explanation regarding some kind of financial transaction, okay? But whatever he said, it was dubious, right? So people did not understand it. So what is the meaning of dubious? Dubious means, again, if you can reiterate what I said, that the meaning of dubious is vague or suspicious. Vague, not clear. So it is vague. not clear. So these are synonyms of the word we have is dubious. Is that right? Okay. Now let's move on to the 9th sentence. It is probably not what she envisaged. The pronunciation is envisaged. She is probably not what she envisaged her married life to be. So maybe we always envisage something. What is the meaning of envisage? She never thought that her married life would be something like this. She never imagined that her married life would be something like this. So obviously I've given you the example or the meaning with my examples that I've just now said. So what is the meaning of envisaged here? The meaning of envisaged is imagine, fancy or envision. Imagine, see, imagine, fancy or envision. Now here fancy means to have good thoughts, to have good feelings, to have imaginary thoughts, to be in the world of imagination is fancy here. So she has never thought that, she had never fancied her married life would be this much. Whatever she had thought, it was opposite of that. Alright. Now let's move on to the 11th sentence. We did that also earlier. But let me again reiterate, the exorbitant cost of healthcare is distorting the entire economy of India. So when we talk about the exorbitant cost of healthcare, okay, so the cost of healthcare, how is it? What type of healthcare? We do get good healthcare here, but at what price? So at the exorbitant price, and it is distorting. Distorting means you can say. The meaning of distorting is making something very bad. Alright, distorting means making something very bad. So when we talk about distorting, making something very bad, the entire economy of India. So just imagine the price of healthcare, as I said, it is very high. So exorbitant, the meaning of exorbitant is very high. Okay, you can say lavish, you can say, right? So here the cost of healthcare is distorting, because of which the cost of health is very high, because of which it is what is it doing? It is distorting the economy of our country. It is making the economy of our country very bad. With that, let's see the 12th sentence. The company cultivates now check here, check this sentence. The company cultivates a familial atmosphere. So just try and understand, it is such a company, okay, which gives us familial atmosphere, right? So till now the sentence is positive, encouraging a sense of community. So they encourage, they motivate us for what? For a sense of community. This is also positive, and belonging among its and sense of belongingness amongst its employees. So here it is a positive word. So from familiar means obviously something positive here. So what is the meaning of positive? The kind of atmosphere the company provides to its employees, they are very, they encourage a sense of community and a sense of belongingness amongst its employees. What is the meaning of belongingness here? Belongingness means, you can say, unity, feeling of brotherhood and all those things, right? So the meaning of familial is relating to family or its members. Relating to family. What kind of relations, what kind of feelings do we have for our family, our relatives, our near and dear ones, our well-wishers? We have good feelings for them, we have positive feelings for them, which we don't have for any kind of stranger. So when we talk about relating to its family members, that means it is a positive atmosphere, positive environment, good environment, the familial word means here. Okay. Now let's move on to the 13th sentence here. The play featured many verbal, you know what is verbal? When we talk something, that is verbal. So the play featured many verbal felicities that delighted the audience. Positive word, right? Something positive is happening. That means whatever verbal felicities the play said or the play portrayed, that delighted the audience, that made the audience happy. So the play featured many verbal felicities, perfect happiness. So the words they used were perfect, perfect happiness. So if you, one more thing that I am going to tell you, why I am saying that the mood of the sentence, the essence of the sentence is positive as negative. So that whenever you get to some kind of, you come in contact with that word, or you get to use that word, you should know on what situations I should be using those words. For example, you know very easily, a very good example is, you know that good, you can say good, encouragement, motivation, right, and friendship, motivation, all these are positive words. But at the same time, when I talk about sadness, dejection, and bizarre, these are mostly the negative words. So you should also know in what sentences or scenarios I should be using these words. I hope you got what I'm trying to say. The 14th sentence that I have for you is, former workers complained that they were given only a flimsy mask as protection to work in such an unhygienic condition, right? So just remember, just go into the time when we all were facing all the what you can say, we all were facing, or we were suffering from COVID-19, right? That was a phase, COVID-19, you remember, and that time we were asked to wear a mask. What type of mask were we advised to wear? We were advised to wear a mask which fully covers our nose and mouth. So now let's go into that scenario when the people were working in that kind of environment wherein the social contact was very less. So here the former workers means, you know what is the meaning of former? The worker who used to work but now they don't work. Like we have former Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, for example. So former Prime Minister means the Prime Minister who was in the past, now somebody else is the Prime Minister. So similarly, former workers, the former workers who have already worked in the company, they complained that the masks that they were given were very flimsy, because of which it was a threat to work in an unhygienic condition. So when the mask is flimsy and they are not ready to work in such an unhygienic condition, that means the mask was not good. And if it was not good, that means flimsy means transparent, thin, lacking physical strength. And lacking physical strength means unable to protect from virus and other kind of diseases. So that is why the former people complained that the mask was very flimsy. Flimsy, there are so many things which are flimsy. A flimsy, you can say a wrapping paper can also be flimsy. Okay, it's very thin. So with that, the last sentence that I have for you is, in the number of developing countries. Now try and understand this. Earlier we used to say as developing countries. India is a developing country and we are developing. Okay, and in order to develop, we must do this. So the sound here was de, develop, de, like this, right? But now there is a slightly change in this. So if you want, saying development is also not incorrect, but if you want, you can use the word development. Alright, that is a new word. For example, the pronunciation is something new. For example, there are many words which have been updated like this. The difference is only about American English and British English, right? Now both are correct, but how you pronounce that matters. If you want development, that is also fine. For example, there is a word called this, right? This is a word called this. So sometimes, or I'm not too sure in which English, but the T is silent. Often, I often go for my dance classes. I often go for my dance classes. But you might have heard people saying, I often go for my dance classes. So both are correct. It's just between American and British English. Whatever you speak doesn't matter. Accent is not also very important, but what is more important, that you speak it correctly. So if you want, you can say in a number of developing countries. If you would hear me time and again using the word D for developing, right? Because this is what I have been into practice. You can also practice this. So in a number of developing countries, war has been an additional impediment to progress. So the country, first of all, it is still developing. And what does war do? War in such a country is an additional impediment to progress. So they want to progress, but because of war, the country gets, there is an impediment in the country, right? So what is the meaning of impediment? Obstacle or hindrance, right? We did this word yesterday also. Obstacle, hindrance, and then impediment. All right. So that's all we are going to do today. These 15 words you are going to do. Do practice them. I've got a, you can say, a treasure of vocabularies for you. Do like and subscribe to our videos if you like the tips and tricks given by us. That's all for now. Until next time, bye-bye.
Kindly subscribe DDA YouTube channel and don't forget to press bell icon.